Morning gang, this is Mike G from Mr. GTV and MrMikeGone.com, and this is my point of view. Literally, you're looking out of my front windscreen as I'm driving back from Wrexham, which was really good fun. It's a town bordering Wales and England, and every time I go there, I have a lovely time. Are you guys having a lovely time watching the news this morning? Getting the headlines, and they're talking about food banks, how to stay warm this winter, how to save money this winter. This is Straight Talking Part 4, and this short presentation is all about what is really going on, in my opinion. I offer this for your consideration. This is my point of view. I hope you're enjoying the view. Just coming up to Broughton now on the A55 heading towards Conway, and it's going to get colder. Looking at the temperatures, it's -1 now, heading towards -2, -3 this week. Freezing fog, and people are cold. I noticed last night and out and about in Wrexham, homeless people in shelters, taking shelter in doorways. I'm always witnessing this and wondering, are they scamming? Is it real? I certainly wouldn't sit there in the cold, but sometimes you sort of have an opinion. Well, they look quite well dressed, they've got a dog, quite a few of them. I've got a Costa coffee when I won't buy a Costa coffee. Is that judgmental of me? What do you think, guys? Keep it loving, keep it constructive. But the reason that, in my opinion, straight talking, we've got these situations is not what we're being told on television. We're being told, oh, it's Putin's war, it's Russia's war, oh, it's the pandemic. I won't use that word again in case I get fact-checked and deleted. Oh, it's climate change and all this sort of malarkey. And this is the old, what is called problem, reaction, solution, which is, there's a problem which in my opinion is created through the government, etymology to govern your mentality, to put you into fear, chaos, confusion. And then there's a reaction of chaos, fear. People turn to the government and say, what are you going to do about it? Knowing that in reality the government have created a situation, and then the government come up with a solution, which is exactly the whole agenda that they wanted to dictate, the paradigm they wanted to reset and create a new normal, which for me is very abnormal. So for me, whether there was a pandemic or not, it's not the pandemic that's closed your businesses. It's not the pandemic that created all the misery and the change in working environments, the loss of jobs, the loss of life. It was the legislation. The mental health, it's the legislation. The lockdowns, which we know never worked. It's certain mandates that were applied at different levels of severity across the globe, and they're still doing that sort of thing now. If you Google what's going on in Oxford and Cambridge at the moment, where they're doing selective restrictions of movement of people, and then you've got other parts of the world where they're on smart meters, and they're telling them that they can't have the fires on at certain times, they can't open the doors and allow the heat to go out in certain retail outlets in France, and there is strict disciplinarian, authoritarian consequences for breaking these rules. This is the reset, and this is, in my opinion, the legislation that's caused the problem. If we'd have left nature to take its course, I believe, whether or not there was a disease or not, I'll use the word disease, we wouldn't have had 3 years of misery, 3 years of reset, this new paradigm, this new normal, where they created a new order out of the chaos, the that, in my opinion, was imposed upon us by legislation. So see it for what it is. When you hear Putin's war, Russia's war, just get the facts. I won't tell you what I think. I won't tell you what my research tells me. Get the facts. You're not going to get it from politicians and television. And when you hear food shortages and energy prices and inflation increases and double down inflation and we're going into a recession, all part of the agenda, guys. All part of the agenda. Don't believe what you're being told, and don't believe what I'm telling you. Do your own research. Do your own research. This is important that you know what's going on. Get the knowledge. There's lots of information. There's very little wisdom. It's all bullshit, guys. And what do you do with bullshit? You shift from the shit. We've got to shift, and in my opinion, the answer to this, straight talking now, is metaphysical, not physical. That we're in a war of information, of thoughts. That thoughts are inspiration, that information is data, and the data's being distorted. There's a perception deception. It's this problem reaction solution where we're being told there's a problem, where really if you turned your television off and you didn't know there was all this going on in the world, you'd probably have a pretty good day. I mean, it's -1 here now. Look at the weather. Where's the global warming? And you know, there's going to be some eco warriors and climate exponents of climate change or global warming, whatever words you want to use, who are going to come up with a good argument. Well, there's an argument for everything. I mean, if you do your research, you could probably find an argument that black is white and white is black and up is down and down is up and left is right, and there's enough information to prove anything on any point of view that you got on the internet. You'll always find supporting memes, themes, information, whatever your arguments. But then what makes sense to you? Google the history of the world's global temperatures over the decades, over the centuries, and this has happened before. We've been here before. It's been colder than this, it's been warmer than this, and the earth knows what to do. It creates balance. And it's just the government governing your mentality that are taking advantage of these situations and are making capital gains through industries that are unnecessary, don't work, are flawed, like wind farms. Carbon footprint of these turbines on land and at sea. Get the facts, because they're not eco-friendly. They don't work. Electric cars don't work. Carbon footprint of them, lithium batteries, doesn't work. I can remember in my time, 20, 30 years ago, working for the Automobile Association, we were all encouraged to go diesel. Just check out who owned the diesel, the oil, who was making the profits, and now check out who's making the profits out of the legislation that we're being conned is all about the environment. It's all about money. Follow the money, that's where the truth is. So talking straight this morning, on this Monday morning, just see things as they are. Don't see things as you're being told. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. And you might say, well, I can't be bothered, Mike. I can't be bothered. You're on your high horse. Can't be bothered. Well, more fool you, with respect, because you might not be bothered. But what about your kids and your grandkids and future generations? We'll be asking you, what did you do during the Great Reset? Grandma, Granddad, Uncle John, Auntie Mary, what did you do? Like we say to people now, what did you do during the Great War? What did you do during the Iraq War? Where were you when the Twin Towers were hit? Where were you when Diana died, or in my opinion was murdered? So where were you when all this was going on? Where were you when they got rid of cash? Where was you when they were educating kids in primary school totally differently to the way you were educated, and in my opinion perversely? Do your research. Where were you when they got rid of petrol cars and they shut down Britain as a company, as a country, and and everything got exported to other countries where it was made cheaply and other people were exploited? Where were you when they had all these child traffickers? Where were you during the migrant crisis? What did you do? I hope you can make a good account for yourself, because there's so much apathy and so much cognitive dissonance. I think we've all got to wake up, and that's me talking straight. What do you think, guys? Be powerful, enjoy your mind.